Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Rocket Monday, we're going to talk about Chandrayaan-3's successful landing. So let's dive deep into it. So flat out, we got it. We got it. We actually got this down safely. We got it. This happened on 23 August 2023 and on 18/4, basically 6 p.m. So we were awake. Every whole nation was watching it, and Universal Time Coordinate Time was 12:34. And this puppy took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and I mean actual tears, like actual blood. Like it took. This puppy consumed a whole nation's energy, specifically after the failure of Chandrayaan-2. So it took a lot of oomph. Let that be very clear. This was not an easy project. It took a lot of oomph out of us. But ISRO made it happen. Flat out, ISRO made it happen. Now, what's the significance of it? Let that sink in. There are many nations that are more richer or technologically advanced than us. However, there are only 4 of them, and practically counting only 3 of them alive. So there is first country is USA, then you have Soviet Union. USA ahead, I'm saying manned landing. They got the biggest success rate. Soviet Union, which no longer exists. That's why I'm saying now there are only 3. And Russia never actually tried to do it. And when they did try, it failed. And then we have China, and then we have India. Let the significance sink in. USA, India, China. There is no Europe, there is no UK here, there is no Australia here, there is no Japan here. That's the primary aspect of it. And we actually managed to land on South Pole, or as close to South Pole as we practically could do. So that was awesome. So we got it, like flat out, we got it. So we are happy. Let that sink in. Like flat out, when this happened, I was watching it live and I can feel it in the air. As in, like, I live in the middle of nowhere, and yet people around me were talking about it. Whole WhatsApp groups were talking about this. Everybody enjoyed it. For a brief moment, whole nation, and I mean it, I mean everywhere, from soldiers to people to cricketers to Muslims, everybody enjoyed it. One people, one flag, one dream, for that brief moment. And I think this is exactly how people must have felt during Apollo mission, during Yuri Gagarin mission. So it is a very important thing. Like, everybody enjoyed it. For that brief moment, India was very joyous. And I mean even Indians that are in foreign countries. And given the fact the amount of people that are in foreign, that are Indian in origin, yeah, a lot of people watched it. Like, this sort of oomph rarely happens, and it generally only was limited to cricket matches and all that jazz. This is the first time I'm seeing this sort of oomph, this sort of festivity around a scientific innovation. And it's a significant thing that we are the 4th. That's not bad, given the fact that there is almost 200 nations on this earth. And that's significant. That's not a joke, that's significant. So we are happy, flat out, we good, we happy. So question becomes, why bother? Now, let me be very clear. I was genuinely shocked and happy to see that most worldwide global networks, when they were covering this, they were covering it very positively, very wisely, as they should, except 1 or 2. But I was very happy with overall coverage. So let that be very clear. I'm very happy with the coverage. Only some places went like a bit too much weed. To give you a context, why bother? Well, here's the deal. It's free. Like India, if I took previous years, this year's detail is not out, so if I took previous financial years, as in like 2021 to 2022 fiscal year, all that jazz, we spent around 0.39% on this. That's it. Not even 1%, not even half of a percent, less than that, 0.39. Yeah. And now be mindful, that's not too much nor too less, because NASA also runs on around 0.4. And NASA only for a brief moment, for a few years, got more than that, up to 4%, but that was Apollo mission. So let that sink in. We are not spending too much, nor we are spending too little. We are spending adequately. And to give you a context, like what we spend this money in education, look at the percentage of education, like the amount of money India has, the amount of money spent on education, the amount of money spent on ISRO. Like, if this cannot help you, this will not really do much to it. So might as well spend it on something grand. And it does have value. Like, it does directly help us. It does directly improves our national security. It does directly give us better weather monitoring. Does directly help our farmers to increase yields. So it's free. Like, practically speaking, it's free. It's not like, oh, we are spending so much money. It's like, dude, it's free. It's like, it's flat out free. And one thing you have to understand, what does a nation have that is the most expensive thing? If you are a poor nation, then you may have answer like minerals, some rare isotopes or something like that, or oil, gas. You will be poor if you have that. So the most expensive thing a nation has is always the mind. To give you a context, think of it this way. What did Russia basically at the end of World War II, what did Germany lose that was the most precious to it? Money? Nah. People? Mind? Yes. Literally, Soviet Union, bam. America, bam. India, bam. Yes. We also got some German scientists. They built our first successful fighter jet, and then I think somewhere in Soviet Union somebody looked at it and was like, "Whoa, India is actually learning, and they might actually learn it. So hey, give them cheap flying coffins." So yeah, that was a tragic thing on our end, but you see the point. Like, it is very expensive. The mind is the most expensive thing that we have, and a nation loses, if nation loses mind. For example, Nepal is suffering brutal brain drain at this point in time. Money becomes pointless. What is happening to Nepal? Nepal is there, everything's awesome, fine. Of course, it's landlocked, that's really brutal. It's mountainous, that extremely brutal, but they still could do things. But more and more people are leaving Nepal for other places. Even middle class people. I'm not talking like best of the best, hardest working, brightest. Of course, they are living, but even the middle class is living, and they are bringing foreign currency. So nation is having money, but condition of Nepal itself is not as good as you would think. Like, you would think, oh, you have so much dollar, you would be printing, like, everything would be awesome in Nepal. No, it's not. So that's the whole thing. Money becomes pointless if you do not have mind. You will literally be like Russia or North Korea. You can have all the money in the world, but without mind, it's meaningless. This is a very critical thing. Now, then we come to the most harsh aspect of reality. Does population size affect it? Absolutely. Does it affect to the same ratio? No. What does that mean? That simply means a nation only has tiny minority of quality. What does this quality means? This quality means people who have the capability and competency to get shit done. Like, basically, these are the people, you put them in place, they're like, I got this. Like, sir, there is nothing there, I got this. They will make nothing basically work and make something out of it, and then slowly over time they will make multi-billion-dollar corporations. So this quality is a very, very small percentage of population. So even if your population is huge as like 1.5 billion, India's population, it's still a very small minority. So if India says, oh, we are only have only 20 lakh people, or 20 100,000, 200,000 people, yeah, 200,000 or more people are leaving per year. That's very significant, specifically if they are here. Now, this is a graph that is generally showed to give you the mathematical aspect of quality. If we call it Pareto distribution, it applies on almost everything, like money distribution and intelligence distribution, how many people are in your companies actually doing the work distribution, everything applies on this. So reality is, these cream, they are very small minority of the people. Even in China, even in India, even in USA, this would be very little. So you could literally have a scenario where USA could literally have 1,000 people that are running the whole nation. Like, they are literally pulling the majority of nation ahead. Of course, then they go to the second best. Second best pulls even more people. Brick by brick, your whole nation goes up. But if you leave these people, like if they leave your nation, it collapses. So fundamentally, brain drain is the worst thing that could happen to a nation. You never, ever, ever want that. Flat out. And if you lose most of them, yeah, loss of the future, flat out. And there is a bit of difference when you are in this level of quality and you understand that, oh, I have quality, which most of them likely you will understand. At certain age, you will be like, oh, I actually have some horsepower, man, here. So what does that mean? That simply means you're not longer working for money. You are not what we classify as sustenance worker, meaning you are working hand to mouth. You're not working as like, oh, I need to work so I can have food. You know that you have food. You know that you're gonna get something done. You know you're gonna be like, sorted, so to say. So what you are looking for is challenge. You are no longer in a position where it's like, could I at least make money for food and clothes and all that? No, that part is sorted. That part is sorted. What you're looking for is challenge. You could literally be like, oh, NASA is giving me offer, SpaceX is giving me offer. You will choose NASA's more secure system if you are a subsistence worker, whereas like, you know what, I want everything to be sorted. Okay, you choose this one. But if you're like, hey, really top quality, you'll be like, what is the probability of wow factor in NASA? Very little. What is the wow factor probability in SpaceX? But it also has the risk of bankruptcy. You're like, you know what, SpaceX it is. So this is a very critical aspect. These sort of people, smart people, they do not focus on money, they focus on challenge. And nation cannot have a small dream. For example, we know like there are like big companies, be it Microsoft, Google, they have Indian CEOs. Like other things also have Indian CEOs. For example, there is this Mastercard guy. By the way, he retired from this position. He got even more richer position. Yes, that's a thing. He was CEO of Mastercard. He got higher than that. Oh, Micron CEO. Oh, IBM CEO. Oh, Adobe CEO. All of them are Indian born, by the way. And I'm like, I checked, I cannot be damn sure, but like most of them are actual Indian born. As in, like, one of them is born in Kanpur, another is Pune. Like, they're born here. They are not like second gen, American parents. No, they were alive. They were born in India. So if we keep losing these sort of people, like, why they are leaving? Like, is it money? Not really. Money would be interesting to these sort of class of people. But for best of the best, it's not the money, it's challenge. If you literally call them as like, yeah, we're gonna do this small thing, they're like, no, sir. I am here on this planet. They understand their mortality, meaning they're gonna go poof at some point. So they want to be like, hey, let's make me a big mark. So a nation cannot have small dreams. In this regard, I genuinely did not like the commitment that India at the beginning of ISRO was put by Vikram Sarabhai. It's like, we do not have the dream to compete. That was really bad. Like that was no. Because what does that mean? That simply means India, while it does not have, like at the time of independence, we did not have too much anything, so to say. But in the future, we'll also not have it. It's like, oh, I am poor now, but I know for a fact that even my descendants, 2-3 generations down, they will also be poor. It's like, I will dream, will succeed. It will take time. That would have made sense. That's exactly the statement of Chinese media, where it's like, what? When they started, they were like, dude, we are not awesome right now. They knew that, but they were like, okay, over time we're gonna get this. Over time we're gonna conquer the sky. We were like, we are not gonna compete. It's like, no, you cannot have small dreams. And the best TV show that described this was Expanse, where Belter people, they were like, even our dreams are small. That was the most horrifying thing you have to understand about oppressed people. If you dream small, you're stuck permanently forever. You're stuck here. You have to dream big. So that's why it is wise from a nation's point of view to go all in. Now, it's not easy. It's hard. Now, that's a very awesome thing. If you want a nation to grow flat out, you have to give it challenge. Like it's exactly the same thing. If a teacher wants to destroy your life, they're gonna spoil you. They're gonna give you easy tasks and all that jazz. And over time, when you actually get bitch slapped by life, you will have no tools to handle yourself. But a teacher who really sees potential in you and they want to be like, hey, I really want you to survive. They will make your life hell. But eventually, you will realize, I have tools to handle life, and you will be walking through life. And it has happened. So you want to challenge. Like it's the same thing. If you are competing against poor players, you're never going to be a good player. You have to compete against good player. You have to compete against awesome player to become awesome. So same way, JF Kennedy really put fire under ass of a nation. How? Because a very simple line. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Like, of course, its money was coming from basically war politics. No denying that. But it did emphasize, like, we are trying to do something that is not easy. We are trying it because it's hard. That genuinely makes a difference. Be mindful, from Yuri Gagarin going to orbit to basically Neil Armstrong actually walking on the moon, that gap is less than 9 years. It's around 8 years, some months. So how the heck that happened? Because he challenged a whole nation. Get your act together. And they did. It did flat out. How the heck USA became this powerful? This moment, the amount of money they poured into Apollo project, chump change. The amount of research, development, technology that came out of Apollo, they're like, bro, you spent billions, you got trillions out of it. That's how big the jump is. So India needs to do something where others have failed. We cannot keep always doing this like, oh, you have launched satellite, we can launch our satellite. No, at some point, if we really want to grow, if we really want to evolve, have wings, so to say, we have to like, oh, you failed to do this, I'm gonna do this. So somebody in ISRO really was smart. Somebody was like, hey, South Pole has an interesting aspect. Let's aim for there. It's like, but we have never landed. Well, let's go all in. And because other people have failed, that also shows that it's not easy. Heck, we ourselves have failed. This is Bashir lander. This is Russian lander. This is Japanese lander. So let that sink in. It's not like, oh, we did it, nobody else wanted to try or were aiming for it. No, all of them. This puppy was brutal, man. Now, to be fair, this was behind schedule, not ahead of schedule. It was behind schedule. It's supposed to be launched in 2021. Heck, even with 1 year lifespan of the RTG on board, people would have forgotten about this by now. But again, it was delayed so much. So that's the whole point. Oh, people want to do, oh, Russia wants to do it. Oh, Japan wants to do it. Oh, Bashit Lander, basically a private small company wants to do it. And these two were launched on SpaceX. So it's like, you can see that there were like a lot of oomph. They were like, let's go. But it did not. We succeed. That means something. Heck, Luna 1, that was launched in 1959, that also failed. And there were like Luna 6, 7, many of them have failed. Not one or two, many of them failed. Luna 25 was the latest of that. So this approach of trying to do something hard is priceless. That's how you motivate a nation. So what we can expect in the future? Well, reality is very simple. At this point in time, when I'm looking, the markets are hot, so to say, and the private fundings are coming in for private players. That matters a lot, because we are no longer in the war politics era. We cannot be like, okay, let's burn a nation's 4% of budget in order to get stuff done. That's not happening anymore. That's not gonna fly. So we have to get creative. How do you get creative? Private enterprise. How do you apply private enterprise? How do you make sure that people just don't leave? You have to show that we have capability. You show that, hey, ISRO can take care of it. Heck, let's say you want to launch a system where you are going to the moon. It means ISRO can provide you the backbone, data backbone that you need. A lot of, like, you need a lot of what you call telemetry and all that jazz. So for that reason, having this sort of capability, and be mindful, no matter which private company you're talking about, they're always governed by the national entity. Always, be it SpaceX, be it whatever else, they have to be governed by a national entity. For that reason, if ISRO itself has big wings, that allows other players to actually promise some big things. So it's awesome. And morale boost for STEAM fields, that's priceless. That's the whole point. Like, what is the main benefit of Apollo mission? STEAM, science, technology, engineering, and maths. That arts and math. It does matter. Heck, I forgot my own stream, arts. So it is very, very important. Let that be very clear. It is. And morale, like, here's the deal. Wars have been fought and won because of morality. So it does matter. Like, if your people are motivated, they're gonna get stuff done. And hopefully, people are hoping that, of course, this is just a start. We are hoping for our manned mission, specifically manned mission, will slow down the brain drain. Like, because if we keep losing it, at some point we'll reach a critical tipping point where we're like completely foregone country like Japan. So for that reason, we really hope that slows down. Of course, it will not completely choke it right now, but it will slow down. We are hoping for that. And his manned mission is already underway. So that's the most interesting point. And in terms of money, it's like, would you like to watch a Martian movie? Would you like to watch Interstellar, Gravity, Avatar, or Passenger, or whatever have you? Or you can just send an actual probe to actual moon to actually do the study. That's up to you. We can get it done very cheaply. And heck, I'm reasonably sure if somebody in India makes a rocket company, because ISRO, what you do after space, awesome. The people who build the rocket, no. They really need to be up to date, so to say. So we can easily drop this. And heck, if we spend the money that is spent on Avatar, we can put people on space. So future is very promising at this point in time. And I'm happy that whole nation, at least for that brief moment, came together and really enjoyed it. That's awesome. That's good to see. Anything other than cricket doing that, that's awesome to see. Especially something this significant, that we are only 4 nations and one of the nations don't even exist. That's significant. So this was my presentation on basically Chandrayaan-3's successful landing. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst a friend. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.